impossible.
Commander, what do we do now?
As you may or may not already know, the single-player campaign in Star Wars Battlefront 2 features a story that bridges the gap between Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi, and Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. That's a time frame of about 30 years, so obviously the game isn't able to cover everything we missed during that period, but it does give us a few interesting insights into how or why some of the things in the movies came to be, whilst also offering us some brand new perspectives for some of the film's most iconic moments. I'll be talking about both of these circumstances in this video, so this is the perfect place to be if for some unknown reason you've decided not to play the game, but still want to know how its narrative fits in with the Skywalker saga. Anyway, the spoilers are strong in this one, so turn away now if you don't fancy having big chunks of the campaign ruined for you. Oh, and probably some bits of the movies too. Remember this scene in Return of the Jedi when the Emperor is telling Luke that he knows all about the rebel plans and they're basically fucked from the outset because he's set loads of traps for them?
Your friends up there on the Sanctuary Moon are walking into a trap, as is your rebel fleet.
Look at that smarmy bastard, he's so pleased with himself. Anyway, it turns out the Emperor's plans were nearly rumbled after the rebellion unknowingly intercepted Imperial transmissions that detailed the plans to amass said forces on the far side of Endor.
If the rebels decrypt that transmission before I delete it, everything will fall apart.
This all happens in the first mission of the game, which opens with the main protagonist, Higton Versio, trapped on a rebel ship, awaiting interrogation. She's not there because she's rubbish at not getting caught, though. She's there so she can purge the stolen transmission before the rebels have time to watch it and work out that they're being led like lambs to the slaughter.
This is not safe. We have new orders. The Imperial fleet will move to the far side of Endor. There we will wait for the rebels to attack. Then...
Purge complete. There's nothing for the rebels to learn.
The plan works like a charm. Higton erases the data, shoots a few rebels in the face, and then legs it into space, leaving the rebellion to discover the bad news for themselves.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47!
It's a trap!
One of the most awesome scenes in the battle over Endor is the destruction of Darth Vader's flagship, the Executor. This superstar destroyer was commanded by Admiral Piet, this guy here shouting about forward firepower seconds before a wayward A-wing attempts to insert itself into the Executor's command deck.
Intensify forward firepower! Ah! Too late!
Oh, sweet dive. Watching this event unfold from afar is none other than Admiral Versio, aka Higton's dad, who name-checks Piet as the Executor pierces the surface of the Death Star.
Piet. Get me Inferno Squad, now.
As an interesting aside, the section of game that immediately follows this cutscene takes place amongst the wreckage of the shield generator that Han and Leia destroy in the film. So this bit isn't really a spoiler because it was in all the trailers, but it's nice to place the scene where Higton and Inferno Squad react to the destruction of the Death Star in context with the events in Episode 6. While these guys are busy being space fascists on the surface of Endor, Lando and Nien Nunb are busy being fucking heroes. And then, just across the other side of the forest, while Inferno Squad are busy pouting at the sky, these furry little shits are having a party. The insensitive bastards. first of a handful of levels where you get to play as classic Star Wars heroes, Luke Skywalker explores a mysterious planet named Pilio, which he has been drawn to by the Force.
If the Empire's here, what I sensed was true. There must be something special about this place.
Whilst there, he bumps into Inferno Squad's Del Meeko, and together they stumble upon one of the Emperor's observatories.
Why would the Emperor have a vault that can only be opened using the Force?
Why do you think?
You're telling me the man who destroyed the Jedi Order was secretly one of them?
No. I'm telling you that as a boy on Coruscant, you were frightened of the wrong thing.
In Star Wars lore, the Emperor built quite a few of these observatories, giving each one a specific purpose. Some were used to hold weapon designs or the weapons themselves, others imprisoned various life forms. Some, like this one here though, housed ancient Sith artifacts, like this ornate compass that Luke discovers locked in a crate.
What is that?
I'd like to keep this compass, if you don't mind.
My mission is to destroy this place. Why would I let you do that?
Because I asked. Thank you.
We don't actually get told what or where the compass points to, but I think it's safe to assume that this has something to do with Luke finding his way to Ahch-To, the site of the very first Jedi Temple and the place where he finally meets Rey at the end of The Force Awakens. Oh, come on, just give him the bloody lightsaber already. Jeez.
Pour me another Parkel and Sling.
Not until you pay for the last one.
Come on, you know I'm good for it.
Holy shit, that's a lovely beard. In this scene, which occurs about a year or so after the end of Return of the Jedi, we get a bit of backstory about Han Solo and his relationship with Maz Kanata, whom we first meet in Star Wars Episode 7.
You two are up to something. Spit it out. You know all business goes through me.
We also get to find out the main reason why she's so pissed off with him when we first meet her in the movie.
Han Solo!
Basically, it's because Han leads the Empire to Maz's doorstep, murders a bunch of them in the forest outside, and then dumps an entire Imperial cruiser into the lake beside her castle. I mean, to be fair, that's got to wind anyone up. Oh, and also, it's interesting to see here that the Millennium Falcon already has the new rectangular radar dish, which replaced the one it lost in the Death Star assault.
That was too close.
It shows that it was fixed up almost immediately after the Battle of Endor, and wasn't something that was added whilst it was stored on Jakku by Unkar Plutt. One of the coolest parts of this level, though, is the fact that you get to go and explore Maz's castle, and can even go and stand outside the door to the room where Rey has her Force vision.
Bombers! Here we go!
The Battle of Jakku was a huge turning point for the rebellion in Star Wars lore. It was basically the final stand of the Empire, a plan made by the Emperor to ensure that everything was wiped out in the event of his death. It was one huge battle which turned the desert planet into a gigantic graveyard, and it became a haven for scavengers like Rey. You'll have already taken part in the Battle of Jakku if you played Star Wars Battlefront's Force Awakens DLC, but this time, instead of just engaging in dogfights, we're also able to witness the battle from the ground as Higton helps various rebellion fighters out of some tough spots. This level culminates with the death of Higton's father and the complete destruction of the Empire as we know it, drawing a final line under the reign of the Emperor and signalling the birth of the First Order. Ever wondered how Kylo Ren was able to discover the location of Lor San Tekka, the old man holding the map to Luke Skywalker, who gets a damn good murdering at the start of Episode 7? Well, it has something to do with Old Man Del, who 30 years after the Battle of Jakku is now married to Higton, has a daughter with her, and is using the Corvus to haul cargo. During those peaceful years after the fall of the Empire, he must have spent some of his time hanging out with Luke Skywalker, who, along with his pal Lor San Tekka, was trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. This past association brings Del to the attention of Kylo Ren, who, after trapping him on Pilio, probes his mind and finds out Lor San Tekka's location.
Tell me where Lor San Tekka took the map.
Bayora. He took it to Bayora.
The location, Bayora, is a new one to Star Wars lore, but it must have been one of the final locations Lor San Tekka went to before Ren finally discovers him hiding in the village on Jakku. Could Bayora feature as a location in the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront 2 story DLC? I guess we'll find out next month.
This is where you began. You hoped the Empire would make you brave.
Finally, and this is just a nice little way to tie the Star Wars story Rogue One into the game, during his interrogation at the hands of Kylo Ren, we discover that at some point Del worked as a shore trooper at the Imperial security complex on the planet Scarif.
You will tell me. Eventually.
The security complex, of course, is the place that gets blown up by the Death Star at the end of the movie. Kablowie! So there we go, those are a few of the threads that tie Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Inferno Squad to the events of the Star Wars movies. But did you spot any links that I missed? Do let me know in the comments below. At the time of producing this video, the story DLC for Battlefront 2 still hasn't been released, so we don't yet know how Higton is going to go about avenging the death of Del, or more importantly, who their mysterious daughter is.
You think she changed you? That your daughter changed you?
But, you know, I'm sure it won't be anyone we've already met. Will it? Thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and of course, may the Force be with you. Goodbye.
Halt!